Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood-turning tools. Made by a woodturner, for woodturners. We are making this as a demonstration project. I'm not going to sand on this because it turns out this piece of wood has a very nasty crack in it. You can see right here. So for safety's sake, I'm going to fill it up with some serrano acrylate glue. So I'm not worried about my finish or anything. And the thing is that if you were doing this, I would immediately change and get a different piece of wood. One, the crack is dangerous. But two, it won't match up then with your design. I mean, when you're done, you'll see the other top part won't match because it won't have a crack in it. If it does, go for it. That'll be really cool. Oh, by the way, this is accelerator for serrano acrylate glue. Anyway, what it does is it speeds up the drying process. Even though I used thin on there, it went so deep into the wood, it might be a bunch of liquid, and this helps dry it up. You can see a little bit of crackling, a little white there. That's a good sign that it is. You want to use this before you start turning because if that starts spinning, then you serrano acrylate your face. Not a good thing. Anywho, I have turned this, and let me see if I can reach this. Excuse my reaching, but watch me get it. We are on the lathe like this right now. This is the tailstock side. I want to start moving away some of this waste wood that's still left up here, and I'm going to establish that lip. I'm doing this now because the tenon hold, when you grab onto a tenon, is stronger than when you grab into a recess. So all this pressure pushing in, I don't want to do that on a recess. It'll take some stress, but why risk it if you don't have to? So I'm going to bring this up. Obviously you can't see from this side, but this camera can. And so I'm just going to do a push in and like so, and I'm going to come down to that lip right, whoops, excuse me, right there. And I'm going to come in a little bit more. I want to make sure that the tenon is in a bit of ways because if there is a design modification or anything, then I have a little room to work with on this lip. Now that lip is not exactly straight, but when I flip it around, we're going to straighten it out. And that is about all I can do from here. So let's stop it and we're going to flip it. Okay, that looks good. The recess is holding well. I expanded the jaws into it. Start this up. Get out of the way just in case it flies off. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to take my skew and come in here and establish this lip and make sure that it is very flat. And by doing that, what I want to, this is the trickiest part I think of the whole thing. You want to make sure the lip is perfectly flat so when you mate the other piece of wood to it, it's going to fit just like, sandwich to sandwich like that. There's no gap in between them. So that's why you want it really flat. So anyway, now we get to start moving some wood because we're going to turn this just like you would a bowl. So we can get rid of this tenon right here. We're just using a push cut. Now, obviously, I don't want my lip to be as tall as it is. So we're going to come in here. Ow, that's hot. Friction will make that warm right off the bat. We'll do a push cut on this instead, a real light one. Come in here. There, I just want that to be... Did it? Again. Sorry about that. So anyway, it's about 1/4 inch in height. I'll try to move the mic out of the way of all the shavings whacking it. Yeah, okay, there we go. This is actually moving wood really well this way. I'm going to go with this for just a second because if something's working, go with it. Now remember, when you turn a bolo, you want to hollow in about 1 inch of width at a time, if that makes any sense. So in other words, I don't want to go to the bottom here in the middle because all of a sudden you lose a lot of structure of the wood and you'll get a lot of vibration. So anyway, let's come here. Now, start on this. I'm actually going to have to use the camera to see. I'm going to push in like so. and push in like so. Now this is how I started going in and hollowing. And this is just a step-by-step process. And as I get this deeper, I'm going to start checking the diameter of the wall to make sure I'm not getting too thin. But the idea is you do want a thin wall. You want one about 1/4 of an inch thick, because you want people to pick up the turning and go, wow, this really is hollow. It's light. It's not heavy. So that's why you have to go thin. Thin on this part's easy. Thin on the top part, that's a little trickier. Also, you can see the way I'm doing this. These little steps give me a place to rest my tool when I get ready to make the next cut, so I don't get any skating or skipping. So I'm going to work on this a little bit more, and when we get down to the bottom, we'll be ready to take this off. Now we've got the bottom off of there, and you can see that nasty crack goes in quite a ways. So I didn't make this as thin as I wanted because I didn't want to take out Brian with a fine piece of wood. And I kept putting in acrylate glue and making it stand up strong. But anyway, so we've got our lip on here, right? Well, the next step is we're going to be working on the top part. I already put a tenon on it, already rounded it out, and I've reversed it now. So this is going to go on here like so. And you can see I've already scratched the diameter of the lip right here. So we're going to take our Easy Wood tool, get my eyes on here if I can see through those things. Turn the lathe on, and we're just going to start working our way back. It's going to take a moment to do this. So I'm going to step it like so. And the depth of this, I'm not going to be too picky about, because right now I'm just trying to get the fit. Because anyway, all that's going to get hollowed out anyway, so it's going to go here in a minute. And if you get a little vibration, just start taking a little bit lighter cut. You never want to use the full width of the blade when you make a cut with this, because it'll catch. Too much surface area comes in contact with the wood. That spinning wood will overpower you. I gotta quit talking. We're almost there. Getting closer. Almost there. See? I touched the whole width of the blade there, because I'm trying to avoid eating all this stuff. Okay, now that we're close, and I'm farther out on the edge, I do want to take my skew and just clean up this edge. Just make a nice fine cut, because I'm using the rounded, it's kind of like a radius cutter on the Easy Wood. So here we go. We're going to take that. We got to turn this off now. And this is like fitting the lid of a box. Just takes a couple tries to get it where you want it, because nobody ever gets it perfect the first time. Well, only a few select ones of us get it perfect the first time. That's cool. Now that we got that established, I'm going to make it deeper. I'm going to make sure this face is true, and then we're going to start hollowing that out. Hang on a second. Well done. As you can see, I have a Jacob's chuck with a 7/16 inch bit in here. Use whatever size you want. Just don't make it so large that somebody can stick their finger in that hole, because then, you know how old turners are. Anything that's hollow, they got to put their finger in and feel around if it's smooth. Well, you don't want them to reach in, because this is not smooth. Nobody can see in there. So I haven't sanded it, haven't worried about how it looks. I just moved enough of it out of the way that it approximates the curve of the outside that I'm going to make. It's just that I'm cheating a little bit so I don't take away all the wood and go through it, and then I have a really interesting looking vessel. So I'm going to slow the speed down for the drill. This is locked down. We're going to advance it in, and we're just going to go straight through. There we go. You can tell when it goes straight through by that noise. It cuts off everything. Hearing, microphones, anything that's around it. And it also calls all the dogs in your neighborhood. We should hear them barking any moment now. You can probably still see I've got a crack in this piece of wood too. It's amazing. This piece, it was hidden inside of there. The best I can think of is that's a wind shake. This might have been from the wind. It moves the tree in the wind, and it separates the bands of the the rings of the wood, you know what I'm talking about, that stuff. Anyway, it'll split it inside the wood and you won't see it till you get in there. So if you have anything like this, throw it away, don't use it, it's dangerous. We, on the other hand, like to live crazy. Whoa. Let me remove that. You sure don't want to put your elbow into this, and I've done that more than once. That's kind of sharp. Okay, put that over here. All I want to do now is I'm just going to blend this in just a little bit. Oop, pick my speed back up to the neck, because people will be able to see inside a little bit, and if they can see this little curve here, what it's going to do is it's going to make the illusion that the wall, the sides are even thinner than you thought they were. So that's good. Now we're going to, well, not flip it around, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this side a little bit while it's in the chuck and start curving it this way, so when I glue the pieces together and I'm holding in the recessed chuck on this end, I'm not putting a lot of pressure to move a lot of wood. So anyway, got to turn it off. We're going to move the tool rest to get to that side. Okay, I've glued this together. I use this serrano acrylate glue, but I would highly advise you use a wood glue like Type Bond 3, because you want this to really hold up. When the wood moves, remember, wood moves because it absorbs moisture and lets moisture out. So one thing you do have to make sure is you get the grains on both pieces aligned, so the grains are running in the same direction, so when it breathes, they breathe together. If you do them crooked, they breathe like that and it'll pop apart. So anyway, I've glued it together with serrano acrylate. I brought a tailstock up with a cone center in it, and that pushed it on there and gave me enough, like a clamp, to hold this together while it dried. So the next step is I'm just going to start shaping this, and I'm going to blend this edge here, and you can see it overlaps a little bit. That's exactly what I wanted. So now it's just the aesthetic part. The other thing is, it also is the brave part, because how far in did you hollow on the back side of this? You don't know, do you? So that's why I always leave the top a little bit thicker, because you don't want to go through the top at this point. So, whoa, that's running like crazy. Let's bring that down a little bit. You get a little vibration when you have the tailstock holding something like that, so don't worry about that too much. But now I'm going to do a pull cut, and I'm just going to start sweetening, sliding my way into that shape. And the way I'm doing this is I'm looking at this side, and comparing it to this side as I go. So I'm going to make it symmetrical. That's the whole idea. I'm going to make a pretty plain lip on this one, because that fracture in the wood is scaring me to death, and I don't want to get too fancy and too thin. Also, when you're on this edge, be very careful. You don't want to expose the wrong side of the tool, or you'll get a catch. But basically what I'm trying to do is blend in that little seam right there, so you won't even know that these are two pieces of wood put together. That looks pretty good, actually. So I'm going to keep working this, and we'll get to the neck, and that's when I'll remove the tailstock, and we'll show you how we do that. Now we've got the tailstock removed, and we're going to work on the lip, and the whole idea on the lip is to make it to where it looks narrow, so it looks really thin. And the other thing is, I can't believe I didn't think of pulling this out earlier, is Robust makes these really cool curved tool rests. So that would have been so much easier on me all the way. Well, since this is just kind of a prototype, since it's wasted wood and it's cracked, I'm not going to sand this. We'll just take it off of here. But I did not put a finish on the Babinga one, because I wanted to share with you the excitement of changing the colors on that. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? I like the shape, and that's a whole different tip or top than I did with this one over here. So anyway, let me get one glove on so I keep some of the stuff off of me. And paper towel. Yep. Okay. So I'm using the Danish oil. It's a wipe-on polyurethane, and I like Watco's brand a lot. It really works well. So let's just put this on here. Blow off the dust. Oh, by the way, when you are gluing together the two pieces of wood, make sure you take an air compressor and blow all the dust out of the seam, because that will not help you out at all, because it'll break loose if there's sawdust in there. But anyway, incredible, isn't it? This is just spectacular. Well, I hope you learned something today on how to make a two pieces of wood into a hollow vessel. And so that way you can amaze all your friends about your dexterity and all the hollowing tools you have that reach into something like that. So anyway, until the next time on Wood Turning, keep turning.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood turning tools. Made by a wood turner for wood turners.